Hi, welcome to Rude the Reformer, at least one more time. I just wanted to say thank you to those of you who have watched the videos and have considered alternatives. You know, when I first wrote this book, I'll show it one last time. I really thought I'd written a book that would start a discussion and that was in 2018. And that people could see how dysfunctional the two-party system had become. That people could see that they had certain friends that they no longer had. That members of their own family could no longer speak. Friends from high school and growing up could no longer speak because of political differences. That the nation itself was being pulled apart, and that we need to discuss a better way. Well, I tried. And so I'm very thankful for those of you who have paid attention, but it's not a sustainable effort. And of course, those of you who know me know I'm not adverse to banging my head against the wall until I get an answer. I've been doing that most of my life, but it's getting a little old as I get old. So it's kind of like the feeling I have as both a player and as a coach. You know, I hate it when you couldn't be playing in the finals, and never enjoyed having a losing season. But I guess people aren't concerned about how divided our country is. People are content to let the Democrats and Republicans go back and forth over ridiculousness. I got a kick this morning out of something that I saw where an anti-vax was, are you being controlled to take the vaccine? Well, what's the difference about the control that I see coming down from all the anti-vaxxers? All of this, you know, to me, that's a bunch of crap. My training is in science. Read the science. Read the science. It's quite obvious, but science is just something that weird people believe in these days. It's gotten ridiculous, so I've got to learn to laugh at it. But I'd much rather change it. I'd much rather have an America where once again people can discuss issues in their entirety without the polarization that we have. And I think, although my first choice would always be to go back to the Constitution, where there were no political parties, where the founders hoped they could avoid political parties. That's what I found out in the research for this book. No one will read. Sorry. But I had hopes that America could be saved for my grandchildren. And I only see division. And at the end of that division is war. And I've never seen war as being a good way to resolve problems. Let alone, I don't want my grandchildren to be in that war or to have to deal with whatever form of government follows that war. I would prefer America, the land of the free. So, partisans, when do you win? You know? So, the Democrats won in this last election. Did the Republicans go away? No. So now, when the Republicans eventually win, do the Democrats go away? No. So we go back and forth. When do we choose to work together and move forward? You know, most of the democracies of the world recognize that a two-party system doesn't work. Otherwise, they could have adopted one. Over 40 new democracies in the world. since the fall of communism in the Eastern Bloc? How many have chosen an artificial two-party system like we have? No one. You would think if it was a good system, someone else would want one. No. No, and I always felt it was ironic over the years. Many times I've tried to start discussions about multi-party systems, especially when I hear people say, "Oh, the government's getting too strong, and too much government." So, well, what about multi-party system? Oh, that's weak government. Well, weren't you just bitching about how much government we have? That's the point. See, without having multi-parties, there's no place to go for middle ground anymore. Is there any possibility of an argument that a Republican can make that's going to change a Democrat's mind? Is there any possibility that a Democrat can make an argument that's going to change a Republican's mind? No, of course not. So why continue with this system that causes us to hate our fellow Americans? It makes no sense to me. But I also realize that what I'm doing can't be sustained. So my sincere thanks to those of you who have watched the video, and it's profoundly upsetting to me that people can't see this divide as being a problem. That is just incomprehensible to me. So when do when do you win? The only format I see is in the Civil War, the Republicans win because they have all the guns, and so the Republicans win by killing all the Democrats. Is that the scenario that you see as being the best one? I certainly don't. And of course, the fear mongers want us to believe that totalitarian socialism is the other one. Well, I find that pretty hard to believe. We got a lot of independent people in this country. No, and it's all based on partial truths and much lies. And so I hope that my honesty is just an average person coming to people and trying to encourage discussion could have done exactly that, encouraged the discussion of alternatives. But I don't see it happening, and I don't see that I have resources to continue in this vein. So it's going to be goodbye to Rude the Reformer for the time being. Fortunately, the music has picked up in a number of areas, and I'm very fortunate, very thankful for that. And I never would have thought that, well, I won't go there. But I'm so thankful for those of you who have watched the videos and have thought of alternatives and do feel that we should do something about the divide. Maybe in a couple months' time, something will change. But as for now, it's goodbye to Rude the Reformer. Although I still got the caps to wear. But I'll be doing the music thing. And I don't do the old political material. For those of you who might not know, as I've been writing songs and recording for over 45 years. But I thought I would find a niche by being critical of both sides. But now I don't do that material anymore. So if you want to hear Howdy Mr. Reagan or Bill and Hillary, you're going to have to listen to the CD. But it's on the music services, so you can listen to it for free anyway. Just go Art Rude, Rude Beginnings, and it should come up on, Apple Music or Amazon or whatever in the heck you're on, it should come up. So hopefully you can still enjoy that as a writer. But I refuse to do it anymore. I'm going to do the songs that hopefully can bring people together and maybe a little tongue-in-cheek. That's hard for me to stay away from. So thankfully, the music has been picking up, and maybe we can figure out how to get people to understand that we have far more in common than we have differences.